Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is C# Object Oriented Design Patterns course, and today's tutorial is about Singleton design pattern using C#. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and promote the content. Intent. Singleton design pattern is a creational object-oriented design pattern. It ensures there is only one instance of the Singleton class that exists for the lifecycle of the application. It provides the global access point to the single instance of the Singleton class. And motivation. At times, it is important to restrict the number of instances of a class being invoked, especially while sharing common resources. Singleton design pattern is used to control the access in cases of database connection, logging, service, file system, caching, and repository management. Consequences of implementation of or using Singleton design pattern. Controls access to the single instance of the Singleton class. It allows only a single instance of responsible for providing access to the common or shared resources. The class that implements the Singleton design pattern restricts the creation of its instances and provides the global access point to access this single instance. Implementation. The implementation class declares its constructor private to prevent the creation of instances outside of the class. So this class cannot be invoked from outside of the class. The implementation class declares a static variable for its object instance. This static variable will store the instance of the class created by itself through the usage of a method. The implementation class provides the static method to provide a global access point to its instance variable that stores the single instance of the class and that stays single instance throughout the application. And this is the class diagram. I have created an event class. This is a very simple entity class that contains 2-3 variables and getter setter methods. The event service class. This class implements the Singleton design pattern. This class contains the collection of events and provides access to add and remove events from the repository. And this class maintains event service in private instance field, and its constructor is also private, and it provides the access through a static method to create the instance of this class. And during the application, there is only single instance of this class, event service, and it returns the event service instance through a static method. This is a simple demonstration of usage of Singleton design pattern. You can use this design pattern to maintain database access, database collection, logging, or any other shared common resources of the application. Thank you guys. Let's begin coding. Hello guys. Let's implement Singleton design pattern using C# object-oriented programming. So I have created a project in Visual Studio 2022 and added 2 classes. The event class that we will going to manage within the event service class. The event service class will implement the Singleton design pattern and maintain or implement a mechanism to maintain a single instance of itself. So let's begin with the event class. So event is a very simple entity class, and you can use C# properties, or you can use get and set methods. So normally we C# prefer to use properties because they are lightweight than functions. So properties, public, event ID, okay, next public string event name and public string, let's say event description, get and set. So these are our 3 properties within this class. So we don't need anything else to add into it because it's just a skeleton class that maintains 3 data fields. Okay, now let's go to implement the design pattern. So we need 2 things. Number 1, collection to store events, and number 2, instance of this class. Okay, so first let's say private dictionary and string and event. We are going to store the events with the recognition of event ID. So events, and next we need static reference to current class. So private static event service and service, or let's say instance. Okay, this is the global access point that will be provided through a static method. So this class will maintain instance of itself and do not allow any other class outside of this class to create the instance of itself by declaring its constructor as a private. So private event service, and that's it. Private constructor to limit creation of instances. Okay, we only create the object to store the events, and we need to provide an access to this function. So this is our, let's say we call it get instance function. So this function will return the reference to the function to maintain or provide global access point to the instance of this class. Okay, this function, let me add these comments, inline comments. Okay, check, let's this dot instance is equal to null. Okay, so check if the instance is null. If instance is null, so we create it and we return it. Okay, this function ensures that there is always a single instance available within the class, and if it is null, it is not instantiated before, it will create it and return. If it is already created and we call this function again, it will return this instance. So that is Singleton design pattern. At any time within the runtime of this application, there is only a single instance available. So let's add some utility functions. Public add event. So let's add utility functions. Public void add event and event object. Event object. Okay, because object is a internal keyword. Function to add new event into the repository. So simply add it to this dot events dot add event object. Okay, next event dot event ID. Okay, now remove public void remove event. So we simply need string and event ID. So this dot events dot remove and we pass the key event ID. Remove event from the dictionary. Okay, that's it. Now let's print public void. So let's print public void print to display the events within the dictionary. Print the events. So we loop for each var evt, let's say, in events, and we store it on event e is equal to evt dot value. So basically this is a key value pair. So now let's print the data. And e dot event ID, and let's add a parenthesis also, and e dot event name and e dot event description. Okay guys, that's it. This is how we will print the dictionary elements using a for each loop. Okay, now let's do a simple testing. Okay, create Singleton object event service is equal to event service dot get instance. So this is how we create Singleton instance. We cannot call the constructor because it is private. So this class is responsible for creating its own instance and also restrict it to single instance throughout the application. Now let's add a couple of elements. So service dot add event, new event, let's say E1, and let's say dinner, just description. Okay, we have to create it separately because I did not implement the constructor. So event, new event, let's say E1 dot event ID is equal to E1 and E1 dot, let's say, event name dinner, and E1 dot event description, let's say dinner, yeah, let's say family, Okay, this is event 1 and we can create another instance. Let's say E2 and this is event 2 and this is meeting. Let's say family business meeting. Okay, now add it to the repository. Service dot add event E2. Okay, now let's print service dot print and let's remove one element. Service dot remove E1 and print again. Service dot print. Okay, and console dot read key to stop the console screen, otherwise it will close automatically. So we create an instance without calling the constructor, and this class calls its own constructor here because this constructor is private. This is how we implement Singleton design pattern in C#. It is very simple design pattern and very easy to implement, and we normally implement it for managing single instance of database access, logging and other different scenarios that where we need to restrict the creation of instances. Let's run it. So this is how our repository maintains the events. Now let's show you there is only single instance exist within the application. So create new instance. So let's say service event service svc2 is equal to event service dot get instance and svc2 dot print, and it's supposed to print same values, same events, because it is the same instance. So console dot write line second instance of event service. So let's run it. Okay guys, let me put some lines to indicate separation of output. Okay, so we added two elements and then printed them. Then we removed one element. So when we called this function here to get the new instance of the event service, it returned the same event service instance because it is a Singleton design pattern implemented class, and that instance has the same value that was there in the previous instance of it. That's how we implement Singleton design pattern. Thank you guys, and thank you for watching this video. And if you have any question regarding the Singleton design pattern, please post a comment. I will reply. And if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Thank you. Have a very good day and see you in the next video.